Good evening and happy St. Patrick's Day. Coming up on News Central, a decline in enrollment at CMU has many people concerned. Reporter Gretchen Veneman has the story.
And tonight the local SAD chapter is sponsoring a Rides Home program for all those out celebrating St. Patrick's Day. I'm Angie Schramski.
And I'm David Scott. News Central is next.
Serving the Mount Pleasant community and Central Michigan University. With Angie Schramski, Dave Scott, John Spitzley with weather, and Todd Cox with sports. Live from Central Michigan University, this is News Central.
The parties are tonight and the rides are free. That is if you participate in the St. Patrick's Safe Rides program. The CMU chapter of Students Against Drunk Driving, local bars, and the Isabella County Transportation Commission are working together to make St. Patrick's Day safer for Mount Pleasant residents. People who have had too much to drink can get free coupons for a ride home on the ICTC from local bars who are part of the Safe Rides program. Travel is free of charge if bar patrons use their coupons. Those coupons will be passed out by bar employees to anyone who requests one or who appears too intoxicated to drive home. Local establishments that are participating in the program include the Bird Bar and Grill, Wayside Central, Sir Richard's Pub, and Shaboom's, Freddy's Tavern, Pop Saloon, Rubbles, and Julio's Sports Lounge, the Brass Saloon, and Chippewa Lanes. SAD will pay ICTC the cost of transportation for participants tonight and will also transport people back to the bar to get their cars tomorrow.
Central Michigan University staff and students have been hearing the same thing for the past year. Enrollment is declining and drastic changes need to be made. News Central's Gretchen Veneman explains what's happening and how decreasing enrollment will affect the university in the next years.
In the past 3 years, the school's enrollment has dropped from 17,229 to 16,349. That's an approximate loss of 880 students, with costs hitting near a deficit of $2 million. But CMU's decreasing enrollment goes beyond dollar figures.
Most of our new students are recent high school graduates. Most of our students, 98% of them, are Michigan students. So we are highly dependent upon the number of high school students graduating from Michigan high schools. That has shown a large decline over the last 10 years.
Other factors also considered in the declining enrollment are because of higher tuition and room and board rates, which then cause students to live at home and go to other universities. Although CMU has been hit hard by the decline of enrollment, they're not the only university in Michigan that's suffering from the lack of students. According to the President's Council of State Universities of Michigan, CMU ranks 7th out of 15 in the 5-year freshman headcount decline, with Michigan State hit the hardest. And although CMU ranks 6th in overall size, we enroll the 4th largest freshman class in Michigan. With this and other changes, Director of Admissions says Central's on their way back to increasing student enrollment.
It's primarily a consequence of new initiatives in scholarship opportunities, new initiatives in outreach activities in the Detroit area and other areas where we know we attract students. It's aggressive marketing and enrollment strategies that will help.
Officials say CMU will start seeing increases in enrollment within the next year. Gretchen Veneman, News Central.
A Wyandotte couple saw tragedy Monday night when their vehicle went out of control on US 27, just a half a mile north of the Beale City overpass. Just minutes after the accident, the driver, 45-year-old Linda Terblom, was announced dead on the scene. The passenger of the car, 48-year-old Thomas Terblom, was taken to Central Michigan Community Hospital, then transferred by helicopter to St. Mary's Medical Center in Saginaw, where he remains in critical condition. Reports indicate the car was headed southbound when the vehicle slid west off the road, becoming airborne and striking a tree. Central Michigan University's Department of Public Safety officer Jack Shively was the first on the scene, where the jaws of life were used to remove both victims from the car. Sheriff Barry DeLue says police think that alcohol may have been involved in the accident.
Former Alma hairdresser Ajme Rodriguez pleaded guilty yesterday to a charge of criminal sexual conduct. The plea canceled a trial that was scheduled to begin yesterday in 29th Judicial Circuit Court in Ithaca. A previous charge of sexual delinquency was dropped by Gratiot County Prosecutor Mark Gates. 44-year-old Rodriguez has been jailed since September on the charge, which involves a teenage boy. Rodriguez has tested positive for HIV and will be sentenced to jail on April 12th.
For years, people in Michigan have suffered as the target of another person's pursuit. But now most of that has changed since the new statewide stalking law went into effect on January 1st.
A resident of Sachs Hall has been the target of continuous harassing phone calls by CMU student Raymond Rodriguez. The student filed a complaint against Rodriguez at the Department of Public Safety in February. Captain Williams opened the investigation under the new stalking law, which makes the offense either a misdemeanor or a felony punishable by fines and imprisonment. Rodriguez continued to harass the student and was apprehended by CMU police.
He followed her into this office, and we were in the process at that time of obtaining an arrest warrant for him. And when he walked into the office, followed the complainant into the office, we simply arrested him and lodged him in the county jail.
The student has moved to avoid further confrontations with Rodriguez, and even though he's still attending classes, the courts have placed him under restrictions.
Well, he's out on bond right now, and the court released him. They indicated that he would have to have no contact. He could have no contact with the complainant. Had to keep his distance, couldn't contact her in any way, whether it be in class or by phone or whatever.
Captain Williams says that if you feel like you're being stalked in any way, whether it be harassing phone calls or you feel like somebody's following you, that you contact DPS for investigation. I'm Shari Bartlink reporting for News Central.
Many CMU students were left out in the cold by the storm of the century that hit the southeast. They were stranded trying to return from their spring break vacations. News Central spoke with some returning students and a representative from the Office of Student Life.
And about 20 miles north of Atlanta, there was just, we just stopped. And we sat on I-75 20 miles north of Atlanta for about 24 hours, if not longer.
Okay, we were stranded in Georgia for 2 days, and we had to sleep in a hotel lobby for overnight and then share a room with 10 people.
We received over 300 phone calls this week from students who were stranded trying to get back to Mount Pleasant from their spring break vacations. What we're doing is we're sending a master list of the students who called in to each academic department. Then it's up to each instructor to determine what their own policy is going to be and how they're going to handle the absence. So being on our list doesn't automatically excuse a student. Each student should touch base with their own instructors to determine what they should do to make up for the absence.
Okay. John joins us now to give us a preview of his up-and-coming forecast.
Well, Angie, it looks like we're going to have record cold temperatures for this evening, but it looks like by the end of the week and towards the weekend, we're going to look at a gradual warming trend. I'm going to have a closer look at this coming up in just a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
And when we come back, a Kalamazoo man is charged with slashing the throat of a graduate from the Western Michigan University campus.
And those found guilty of blocking access to abortion clinics may see tougher laws in the future. We have the details. Stay with us.
you before we went to see the kids to wrap them water pipes with insulation.
Yeah, should have listened.
And didn't I tell you to leave the doors under the sink open?
Yep.
And leave the heat on?
Yep.
You know, if you'd done all them things, we wouldn't have had to rip out the wall-to-wall carpet when we got home.
Yep, I know.
And we wouldn't have drowned the Victrola.
Yep, should have listened.
Oh, fool.
Oh, I got one.
Having the right resume is vital to your future career. That's why you need a resume from Copy Corner, your professional resume headquarters. Copy Corner will help you every step of the way, from writing to layout to printing. And you'll end up with a resume to impress any prospective employer. For one resume or 100, you can't beat our prices, high quality, or fast service. So for a professional resume, contact the experts at Copy Corner, located in Saddler Square, Big Rapids, and the Cinema Plaza, Mount Pleasant.
Personally, I learned about the disease and all the implications when my brother was diagnosed. And it was a harsh reality. I had to learn a lot very quickly. Even though I thought I knew a lot about AIDS, the picture changed when it became a family issue.
If I, the son of a Baptist minister from basically a rural area, can acquire AIDS, anybody can.
Obviously, women can get AIDS. I mean, I'm certainly here to witness to that. That it's not a we-they disease, it's an us disease.
AIDS is not a problem that affects other people. AIDS affects us all. Know the facts about AIDS. Know how to protect yourself and your family. Tell others. For answers to your questions about AIDS, call 1-800-342-AIDS.
A judge has ordered a Kalamazoo man accused of killing a social worker to undergo psychiatric treatment before deciding if he will be able to stand trial.
David Stappenbeck is charged with slashing Rebecca Bienkowski's throat February 3rd while he rode in her car. Bienkowski was a graduate student at Western Michigan University and managed the apartment for mentally ill people where Stappenbeck lived. Forseneck psychiatrist Carol Holden described him as having paranoid delusions and hallucinations. Stappenbeck's status will be reviewed in 60 days to determine if he is able to stand trial. A group of 8 Michigan students caught in the Smoky Mountain blizzard initially ignored Rangers' request to abandon camp. But Ranger Tom Robbins says the Cranbrook students took heed of the next day when they awoke to 2 feet of snow. Robbins says what should have been a 2-hour hike to the ranger station last Friday turned into an 8-hour trek through waist-deep snow on Saturday. Another park official says he knows of no intention to bill Cranbrook for the expensive ground and air search rescue of 117 students and teachers. All but 1 teacher and 1 student are scheduled to return by bus to their Broomfield Hills campus today. The teacher and student were hospitalized with frostbite.
Last year, no violations of the Federal Clean Air Act standard for ozone were reported in southeastern Michigan. The report means ozone amounts were less than the Federal Clean Air Standard in 120 parts per billion. Ozone has been linked to respiratory and heart problems. The last time southeastern Michigan was beneath the federal standard was in the late 1970s. The recession may have helped to clean the air. When factories produce less, they pollute less. About 60% of regional air pollution comes from industry, the rest from motor vehicles.
With the slaying of a Florida doctor just a week ago, legislation was introduced today in Michigan to create civil penalties for people who block abortion clinics. The bills would authorize lawsuits prohibiting such blockades and awarding triple damages up to $5,000. A person found guilty of blockading or obstructing access to a facility could be ordered to reimburse governments the cost of wages for time spent responding to the protest. The bills face an uphill fight in the Michigan legislature, which has long been anti-abortion.
A New York hospital has announced that actress Helen Hayes has died. Hayes was called the First Lady of American Theater for the major part of an acting career that spanned 8 decades. Hayes was admitted to the hospital a week ago with congestive heart failure. A hospital spokeswoman says Hayes died in her sleep with her family by her side. She was 92.
Today, New York held its St. Patrick's Parade in which at least 135 people were arrested for protesting the parade over a ban put on homosexuals to march under their own banner. The protesters by the hundreds started marching up the Fifth Avenue route an hour before the parade started, only to be stopped by police barricades. The peace talks with Somalia have been put on hold by the United Nations in relation to the fighting in Kismayu, Somalia. In Somalia, their most powerful warlord has put the blame on the United Nations for not putting a stop to the attacks and plans to withhold from any peace talks until the violence subsides. Colonel Fred Peck, U.S. military spokesman, said a 500 U.S. military personnel and reaction force is being sent to Kismayu in Somalia to investigate the fighting going on. A relief convoy escorted by UN trucks is not being allowed into Bosnia by Serb forces. The convoy is headed for the Muslim town of Srebrenica. The convoy has been blocked for a total of 7 days. The Serbs won't let the relief convoy through if the UN trucks are going to be escorting them. Despite the report, the UN has said that 2 convoys are already on their way through.
When we return, John will be in with his full forecast.
And Todd Cox will be in with the sports.
Stay with us.
Long ago, in a place where there was nothing, something incredible began to happen. As the centuries passed, a beautiful forest blossomed, and all was well. Then one day, a man was careless. And once again, there was nothing.
That's my dad. And that's Mom. Dad's got an idea, a way to get rid of all the grody garbage that's polluting the world. He's invented a big rocket ship to shoot all the garbage into outer space. Mom's not sure, but Dad says his invention will save the world.
There's an easier way to save the world. Recycle. For your free recycling action guide, write Recycle. Environmental Defense Fund, 257 Park Avenue South, New York, New York.
That you will always have a friend here at Carver High. Congratulations.
Decide what you're going to do after graduation, Michael.
Yep, I'm going to go home and make a sandwich.
Well then, Michael.
Hey, how you doing, Mr.
Congratulations.
D?
I'm fine.
Listen, what are you doing after graduation? I don't know. I was thinking about going home and brushing the teeth and combing the hair. Hey, what's up? We made it.
Hey, I couldn't have gotten through physics without you.
Yeah, well, you're on your own at college.
It's not fair.
That's all right. I'm going to get a job, you know, start working, I'm saved. And I'll be in college in another year or 2.
Nice.
So, what do you have planned, Mike?
I think I'm going to go home and make a sandwich. It's okay, man.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Currently outside, it's partly sunny. We have a temperature of 18 degrees. Our dew point is at 2, giving us a relative humidity of 56%. The barometer is holding steady at 30.48 inches, and the wind is out of the north at 10 miles per hour, giving us a wind chill of 6. You'll see our almanac page. Our normal high is 43. We're well below that today. Our record was 73, set back in 1945. And our normal low is 26, and our record was 8 back in 1967. Let's take a look now at our national map. You'll see that we are we have high pressure in our area. There's a cold front that moved through last night that is pushing down farther off to the south, and they're getting cooler temperatures, cool for this time of year. You see there's a lot of rain down in Florida and back off into the East Coast. That's going to be their situation for the next day or so. That should move off. Back behind me, you'll see a low pressure system that's getting started. There's another one that's off the map, and these two are going to combine forces and make their way over into our area probably by Friday, and that'll give us a chance at some snow. But the thing is, as this high pressure moves off, our temperatures are going to start to gradually warm up. Let's take a look at our state map now. You'll see that here we are at 19. Below us, they're in the 20s, and up above us, they're in the teens and single digits, but most of the areas are partly to mostly sunny. Let's take a look at our forecast now. For tonight, it's going to be clear and cold. We're going to see probably record low temperatures dropping down to 0 to 5 below 0 with light and variable wind. It's going to be chilly. And then for tomorrow, skies will become partly to mostly sunny. We're going to start gradually warming up. We'll see our high of around 28 and southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And our extended forecast calls for increasing clouds on Friday as temperatures gradually warm up into the 40s. We have a shot at some snow in the evening hours and possibly rain for Saturday and Sunday, and lows in the 20s. So gradual warming, but for tonight, it's really going to be cold.
And still rainy on the weekend.
Yeah, it looks that way.
If things keep warming up, though, we can expect the sun maybe the next week?
Yeah, next week things should be looking a lot better. We could see 50 degrees by the middle of next week.
Great. Thank you, John.
Yep.
Todd Cox will be next in with sports. Stay with us.
Having the right resume is vital to your future career. That's why you need a resume from Copy Corner, your professional resume headquarters. Copy Corner will help you every step of the way, from writing to layout to printing. And you'll end up with a resume to impress any prospective employer. For one resume or 100, you can't beat our prices, high quality, or fast service. So for a professional resume, contact the experts at Copy Corner, located in Sadler Square, Big Rapids, and the Cinema Plaza, Mount Pleasant.
Honey, it's Mom. Please let me in. I'm worried.
Learn to see the signs of mental illness. 2 out of 3 people who get help get better. For a free booklet, call the National Mental Health Association.
Everyone has their own idea of a hero.
Magic Johnson. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Mr. Neal.
My hero, Gloria Stefan.
Martin Luther King. Mr. Hope.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes. They've given them hope. They've given them choices. They've changed their lives.
Well, the children are the heroes.
The most fulfilling thing is watching a child succeed.
I just like to help them make their dreams come true.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. If you want to make an impact on our future, call 1-800-45-TEACH.
Mr. Wilkins.
Mrs. Eisenhower.
Mr. Adler.
Be a teacher. Be a hero.
So Todd, the NCAA tournament starts tomorrow, but the high school tournament is continuing right now.
Yeah, it's big for high school around here. Good evening, everybody. Well, as Dave said, the NCAA tournament starts tomorrow, but the high school tournament is still going on as the Mount Pleasant Oilers got a very impressive win last night over Saginaw High, 59-53 in the Class A regionals at Davidson. The Oilers made a convincing claim that they can contend in Class A. The Oilers held Saginaw to just 4 points in the third quarter. Kelly Carpenter led the team with 15 points, while Nate Erickson finished with 13. The Oilers will now advance to Friday's regional title game against tonight's winner between Flint Northern and Flint Carmen Ainsworth. Down the road at Ithaca in the Class C playoffs, the Shepherd Blue Jays fell behind 31-9 in the first half and could not catch up as they fell to Piamo Westphalia 60-47. Jason Travis led the Jays with 20 points, and Jamie Nelson added 16. The Jays ended their season at 17-7. Meanwhile, on the pro hardwood last night, the Detroit Pistons tipped off an important 5-game Western road trip last night with a 113-110 victory over the Sacramento Kings. The Pistons are suddenly striking distance of 500 as they have won 4 of 5. Joe Dumars led the game with 31 points, and Isaiah chipped in with 25 points and 9 assists. Detroit's in Utah tonight to play the Jazz. Elsewhere on the NBA hardwood, it was Houston squeaking by Orlando 94-93. The Rockets have won 14 games in a row. New York down Milwaukee 102-99. The Knicks were led by Patrick Ewing's 35 points. Cleveland beat Philadelphia 110-98. Lenny Wilkins won his 856th game to tie him for third all-time with Dick Motta. Only Jack Ramsey and Red Auerbach remained ahead of him. Seattle down Miami 98-85. Sean Kemp led the Sonics with 19 points. Atlanta down Charlotte 122-107. Dominique had 35. Boston trounced Golden State 114-88 as Alo Adenabi had 25 points. And Minnesota got by Denver 197. Doug West led the T-Wolves with 28 points. While on the pro ice last night, Detroit Red Wings concluded their 5-game road trip as the Washington Capitals defeated the Wings 4-2 in Milwaukee. As we traveled to Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Here, Steve Eiserman will shoot it into the Washington zone and will carry him off the boards in front of the Capital net, and Gerard Gallant will light up the red light. It's 1-0 Wings in the first. And then the Capitals on the power plays, Kelly Johansson with a slap shot, and Dale Hunter will direct it into the Wings net. We're tied at 1. And in the second period, Sergei Fedorov will top shelf it into the net, and it's tied at 2. As we move to the third period, still tied at 2, Mike Ridley back to Todd Krieger, back to Ridley, and go behind the net to Kevin Hatcher, who finds the open net. It's 3-2 Caps. The Caps did add another empty netter to conclude the scoring at 4-2. The Wings end the road trip at 3-2 and are 5 points behind Chicago, and they come home Wednesday to face the Minnesota North Stars. Elsewhere on the pro ice last night, it was Chicago 1, Calgary 0, as Jeremy Roenick scored the lone goal, and goaltender Ed Belfour got his league-leading 6th shutout. It was Philadelphia skating past Minnesota 4-3 as Eric Lindell's got a goal, becoming the 5th Flyers rookie to score 30 in one season. Boston down New Jersey 3-1 as former Red Wing Adam Oates and Cam Neely each tallied 1 goal and 1 assist for the Bruins. Hartford down Tampa Bay 4-3 as former Red Wing Murray Craven scored 2 goals, including the game winner in overtime. Boston and St. Louis skated 2-2 tie as Alexander Mogilny scored his 69th goal of the year. Los Angeles doubled up on Winnipeg 8-4 as Luke Robitaille scored 2 goals. And the Islanders shut out San Jose 6-0 as former U.S. Olympian Scott LaChance scored 2 goals and added an assist for the Islanders. And finally tonight, a major trade in the NFL today as the Cincinnati Bengals traded quarterback Boomer Esiason to the New York Jets for a 3rd-round draft pick. Esiason will be in his 10th year as he was a 2nd-round draft pick in 1984 out of Maryland. He took the Bengals to Super Bowl 23 in 1989. And in another NFL news, Pro Bowl defensive end Pierce Holt of the 49ers has signed an offer sheet with the Atlanta Falcons. And that's a look at sports.
So, Todd, what's your Final Four pick?
Well, I have Kentucky, Indiana, North Carolina, and you got to go with the Big Blue, Michigan.
There you go. Sure bet.
Sure bet.
Thanks, Todd. We'll be right back.
After dating the guy forever, you think I could tell him anything. Why is this so hard? I'm really scared.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Thousands of forest fires are started by people who never realize what they've done. Some never even set foot in the forest.
Well, it's March 17th, and we all know what that means.
Green hats, green clothes, shamrocks, and leprechauns are familiar traditions of St. Patrick's Day, but another ritual began early this afternoon, drinking green beer. Several local bars are offering green beer, specially concocted to honor this holiday. The Irish and the non-Irish alike seem to enjoy the colorful change.
Temperature go. He is. We plan to stay here all day. We're going to celebrate today as much as possible.
Although many beers do claim to be the official St. Patrick's Day beer, the food coloring is tasteless, and green beer tastes the same as the brand usually would.
So, Angie, I see you're wearing your green today.
Yeah, I always make a point of celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
Me too. I got my tie.
Sure.
And Todd, we can look forward to the NCAA tournament starting tomorrow.
March Madness starts tomorrow at 12:30.
Okay. Well, everybody have a good night, and we'll leave you with the festivities of St. Patrick's Day.